Hello, everyone out there. My name is Richard Kelly. I'm with the Forge Inspire Committee, and we are back with another episode of the Forge Cares series, where we learn about local organizations here around Topeka and folks that are making an impact in the Topeka area. I've got with me today Michael Williams, who's involved with communities and schools and is also at Highland Park High School and involved with the basketball uh, activities there and also involved with the school as a whole. Michael, thanks for joining us this morning.
Oh, definitely, man. I appreciate you taking time out of your day to kind of highlight some of the things we're doing with communities and schools and, some of the good nonprofit work we got going on in the community.
Absolutely, Michael. That'll be a good focus point for us to start out with. It's just for members of Forge and for folks in Topeka that may not be familiar with communities and schools. Share a little bit about your involvement in the organization, one, and what the mission or the responsibilities of communities and schools has been.
Yeah, man, definitely. So I'm going on 10 years now with
Oh,
communities and
wow.
schools. Yeah, so I've been around for a while in a few different roles and capacities. But yeah, Communities and Schools, national nonprofit organization that partners with school districts nationwide to place within schools trained professionals who end up taking on the role of a student support coordinator. We do a range of things from all school programming, basic need, outreach, basic need collaboration, and then some small level case management work for students on a small case management basis. Each SSC, so that's the acronym for Student Support Coordinator. So each SSC in every school that they're in is specific to the school. They collect a bunch of data and information from teachers, admin, support staff, as well as community data to try to get a snapshot of specific needs in a certain school. And then through that snapshot of information and a diagnosis of needs within the school, then the SSC is able to kind of hit the ground running and collaborate with school staff, teachers, administrators, as well as students and their families to find ways to find positive outcomes, at the individual school student level. So from a case management standpoint, and then also entire school wide through whole school programs, as well as small group programming as well too. Communities and schools is a special place, man. Like I said, I've been with CIS now for 10 years. I've been at SSC all 10 years. I spent 2 years as an elementary school SSC. And then for the last 8 years, I've been a high school site coordinator. I was an elementary school SSC at Ross Elementary School. And then I worked as a high school SSC at Topeka West High School. And I've been at Highland Park now for the last 5 years as SSC here at Highland Park. And, obviously I work with communities and school, but the beautiful thing about communities and schools, it opens us and gives us an allowance to also, be able to do other things in our life. So I am also the head boys basketball coach here at Highland Park. Just wrapped up my 4th season as head coach. And, really in a lot of traditional sense, your coaches or your basketball coaches are, teachers or PE teachers. And I think there's a definitely great space for coaches who have done that over the years and will continue to do that. I've been able to kind of carve out a different space working through CIS and the lanes that I'm working in to really, really be able to find an impact as a coach, as a communities and schools SSC. So I've definitely kind of got an out of the box kind of approach to what I do as coaching. But through the resources that I'm able to get my hands on and connect with the relationships that I'm able to build through communities and schools, I'm able to impact Highland Park, obviously at the CIS level, but also as an athletic coach, being the head boys basketball coach here at HP as well.
Michael, that's fantastic that you've had such a long time involvement in the organization. It shows the testament to your passion and interest in what the organization is doing. From what I understand, communities and schools is not just a Topeka-based initiative, though. It's nationwide, right?
Yes. No,
Yeah.
it's a nationwide initiative. Our state office is located in the Virginia area. Specifically, like in the Topeka area right now, we have SSCs at all 3 USD 501 high schools, as well as 2 to 3 elementary schools as well. Obviously, we're a nonprofit, so all of our work is grant funded. So obviously, as those grants cycle throughout years or whatever, that's how, some we've had SSCs in schools here locally that we're not in right now. We'll probably be in schools in the future that we're not at right now, just all based on, a lot of the grant cycles and stuff. It's good when we're able to get some programs off and rolling and really saturate in a school, because that is what can allow for staying power in schools. I know we've been in USD 501 for over 10 years now, for a while now. In multiple schools, but we're also talking about the state level. So I work from the Mid America kind of post. So the Community Schools Mid America post includes the Topeka area sites, Lawrence area sites. We stretch all the way out to Iowa. So we have individuals up in the Cedar Falls, Waterloo, Iowa area. And then, also throughout the state, even though they're not underneath this Mid-America umbrella that I work underneath, we have a central umbrella that takes care of some schools in the Emporia area, the Salina area. We moved through the KC Mo area, where, we've kind of branched out over the recent years and grew into that capacity. But we're also all throughout the Midwest. We're nationwide. So in a lot of communities and school districts nationwide, you'll find communities and schools partnerships and collaborative efforts in those schools to impact kids and, just to live out our mission, to keep kids supported and keep them on track to graduate. So it's been I have definitely did some amazing things over the last 10 years, just through the work and the connections and the partnerships and the model that we're able to implement from communities and schools.
When you see those students that you've interacted with, in the last 10 years, and being able to come back to that now, that's got to be surreal for you to be able to recognize the involvement that you had, or that communities and schools had, right?
Yeah, no, man, you hit it on the head, bud. Like when I say I really had an amazing impact on a large scale, I'm not lying. I mean, I'm coming out of a year as SSC here at Highland Park, where we just were able to pull off 20 plus school-wide programs. And that was kind of a low ball year, just because our model has kind of moved in the direction that we're focusing on, even though we still do the all school programs that impact every single kid in the entire school. We're also kind of branching down and doing some more group related things and specific to our caseload and stuff. But I mean, I've been able to impact on a whole school level. I'm a teacher by heart. So, even though I'm not a classroom teacher, communities and schools allows me to impact. So, on top of being an SSC and head boys basketball coach, I'm also the staff chair for our BSU here at Highland Park, which I'm actively involved in. That's also a program that I'm able to accomplish through communities and schools as well, too. So, man, I've been everywhere, man. College visits all through all the state universities, KU, K-State, Wichita State, Emporia, Fort Hays, Pitt. But then also on the career side, so also being able to keep kids lined up with options outside of after college or after high school that are outside of college. So also career fairs and getting kids lined up with internships and partnering up with everywhere from Advisor Excel to Blue Cross and Blue Shield to Evergy to Hills Pet Nutrition to Research, just to be able to provide an out-of-the-box education. Obviously, our schools do a great job with, our maths, our readings, our sciences, things that we can get accomplished within our four walls. But communities and schools allows us an opportunity to take the education outside of these four walls and really get our kids some hands-on experience and just situational awareness from what's available to them. So, yeah, you talk about bumping into kids. It's every day. Obviously, I'm a homegrown Topeka guy, so born and raised here. So obviously knowing people from that in that regard, but my work that I've done in education through communities and schools has taken that to another level. And now I'm able to impact, not just, my generation, but having been worked with, working in education for over 15 years, communities and schools for 10 years. I've just been able to see that work right in front of my eyes on a regular basis. So thankful, I believe this is the best job that I've had in my working career. And it's just been the impact and supporting kids and keeping them on track to graduate, being able to be a light in the community and support people. Communities and schools allow for me to do all those things.
And Michael, obviously the work that you do and the work that the other SSCs in Topeka do, the other individuals in the Midwest do, that work can't be done without the support, one, of the community, but two, I'm sure there's a lot of collaboration efforts that have to take place to make those things happen. You know, you certainly can't do that with just your work alone. What are some ways that, thinking from a Topeka centric standpoint, what are ways that either folks within the Forge organization that maybe have interest in philanthropy or volunteer activities, or just folks in the community at large, can help support you either in awareness or in potentially actually volunteerism?
Heck yeah, man. As you talk about awareness, I would start by, just getting a better understanding about what communities and schools is. That's why this space right here, being able to speak on, it's important. Just to get people to understand. A lot of people don't know what CIS is, what the work we do through communities and schools. So I think one of the first places is go by our website. The CISmidamerica.org. That can kind of give you like some of the brief overview on some of our outcomes, impacts. All of our work is data driven and outcome based. So as you're kind of trying to get a snapshot or understanding of work of what CIS has done in the Topeka and this Mid America community that we service, all that information is there. It's all based on outcomes, keeping kids on track to graduate. You'll be able to kind of get a grasp and see those numbers, and I think that's important, especially from a nonprofit standpoint, because we are grant funded and money from the community funded. So it's good for the dollars that the community, individuals, groups, and people that they give to nonprofit organizations. But it's good for that money to be known where it's going to, and to know where the impact where it really hits, and just to know that your money is going to be utilized for good things and support people, and go where you want it to. So I say first, becoming aware, going by our website. And then also from there, obviously, you can get involved, from, financially giving to our organization as well. That information's on our website. There's board opportunities, within our communities. We do a champions within the community. So these are, stakeholders within the community who have, there's a lot of people that want to see education grow, that want to see educational opportunities be able to be open and available for all kids, programs open and available for all kids. So individuals that get in on our board and support through our champions, our CIS champions group, they're able to kind of not just pass financial things along or resources along, but actually kind of be involved and have their voice heard, on our boards and stuff like that. And then also, one big thing that people get involved with, and, I sit up in my seat on this one because this helps me out. Volunteering, man. We do a range of programming. Like we said earlier, programs are specific to every school that they're in, but there's also a short list of programs that, all elementary school SSCs do, or high school SSCs do. At one time I was elementary school SSC, so I was partnering up with Blue Cross. Big Brothers and Big Sisters. That's a program that individuals within the community can get involved in. At the high school level, we do a program every year known as Future Now Finance. It's a United Way funded program that teaches financial literacy to high school age students in a really interactive, informative kind of way. That program itself is all volunteer driven. Obviously, there's a space there's work that we do from a communities and school standpoint through setting it up and being on site as the event goes on. But the booths, everything within that program is all ran through volunteers. It wouldn't be able to be accomplished without volunteers. And we've ran that program probably over the last 10 years, every year, multiple times at every USD 501 school, as well as the outer line school districts as well, too. So that's a program that draws in a lot of volunteers. But then there's also not necessarily annual programming that goes on, but, programming specific to schools that we're looking for volunteers to get involved in. So, obviously, becoming aware, checking out our website, some of the community opportunities that are provided through communities and schools, through boards, as well as some of our champion programs allows individuals to truly get involved. Volunteering is also, a good way for people to kind of get involved as well, too. So, we're nonprofit driven. And so all of that support from a community standpoint is important. So, I am thankful that I was able to come out here today and kind of speak a little bit and me get the word out, and then also hope that we're able to kind of spark the interest or pique the interest of some people to kind of look more at what we do and how communities and schools has really, really, really impacted the Topeka community over recent years.
And Michael, just to verify with you as well, if folks are interested in volunteering with communities and schools, not only at Highland Park, but as you mentioned with Topeka West, Ross Elementary, et cetera. Can they go to the Mid-America website and find out that information?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. There's a
Okay,
link on there through our website as well too. And I want to say we have a lady by the name of Julie Phillips who will kind of be involved in a lot of that stuff. But yeah, you can definitely get that information from our website. That'll be on there. And then even from there, you may be directed because, the school year's winding down and
sure.
a lot of our programs, the volunteers that we utilize will be based on programming that those schools will offer. So obviously that stuff will roll around going back in the next school year or whatever. But it's good to kind of, we try to do all we can to get a handle on as many volunteers as possible. And so, anybody that's interested, go by our website, follow up that information, and you can be able to find volunteer information there as well too.
And Michael, I've mentioned this in a few Forge Cares calls recently, and just to reiterate it with another conversation, collaboration has been such an important component of so many nonprofits that we've spoken to over the last couple of years. And as you mentioned, big brothers and big sisters, I start thinking in my head, other organizations that we've spoken with and met with that you probably have had interactions with. Just
Yes.
talk about that from a community standpoint for folks that are looking to get involved in the Topeka area. Their involvements in one organization, it's going to benefit not only that organization but other community focuses around Topeka, right?
No, you're spot on. I think, the reality of it is like so much of the work that, so many organizations are doing, they're doing it obviously themselves, but they're doing it in step with other groups and organizations. And the partnerships allow us to really kind of like multiply and duplicate and increase our reach. Um, Communities and schools is no different. Within our space, we call it brokering. We call it obviously, collaboration.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's my job to branch out into the community and to connect with those resources to collaborate, broker them in, and bring them into the educational space. And so, our job is bent on that. It, when it's done to its best ability, the collaborative efforts are happening on a regular basis. And so, yeah, we said earlier, big brothers and big sisters, let's help, harvesters, gear up, JAG, community action, Catholic charities. We talked earlier about, the businesses, from Advisors Excel, Blue Cross Blue Shield, Research, Evergy, all of those things going even further, Washburn Technical Institute, it's all of that stuff going in to try to find outcomes because we're on the search for outcomes. And obviously, you can't all the way find answers in your own space. And so we have to be willing to partner up and connect with people and to be able to connect the dots in areas that we can't get to. And so collaboration has been a backbone to the nonprofit work that we do as SSCs at communities and schools, and not just on the SSC level. It's the backbone to our nonprofit as a whole. Because we are placed in communities with the idea of connecting out with resources or individuals within the community that can enhance the educational experience. So that's all collaborative efforts. That's all through partnership. And our rally is done through relationships. I think that's one of the most important things to remember as well too, like relationship building. Allows partnerships to be able to sustain and continue on and go forward. So, you hit it right on the head, bud. Collaboration, partnerships, all of those things, and especially in the educational world, we need as many of those that we can sustain, build, and make right to be able to make the most impact and create the best outcomes for our youth in the community.
And Michael, one last piece that I'd like to touch on is, as we talked before we jumped on the call, it's been a tough time here recently in the education field with recent events such as the shootings that took place yesterday in Texas. Right now, having that community element in schools and having that safe place for students from elementary to high school is so important, and the work that your team's doing is making that happen. Just tell us, just to provide some positivity and show that results based effort that your organization has had. Tell us maybe a cool story, or a success story that you can think of from these last couple of years. Just something so that folks can kind of get an idea of the type of work that your team's doing.
No, you're right on, man. Especially in the current times, like right now, I think, well, I believe I know that, most all young people and people, we come to school because it's a safe space. And we're hoping to create an area and have an area that our youth, our students, and their families look at as a safe space as well too. And so, it's our work and to make sure that we're creating that and that we're giving that message out to our students and our people and stuff. And so, I want to start by that is, we want this to be a safe space, and prayers and healing to everybody that's been affected by the most recent events going on. But we want this to be a safe space, and community schools does a good job on enforcing, trying to help create a safe space through the work that we're able to do. As we think about like outcomes, obviously, our mission is to keep kids on track to graduate and surround them with the wealth of support to make sure, because the wealth of support can keep them in line to graduate and do those things. And so you think about the support, being able to be provided along the way, and then the success stories. And there's so many of them, from, being able to provide meals during Thanksgiving and Christmas. Communities and schools has allowed us to do that. Being able to, in tough times where families are may not have the resources. We just came off of COVID, and the resources were tough on a lot of families. So we were able to provide money for bills, for groceries, just for immediate support, going through a tough time. I've been able to, as a SSC, be an individual to connect families and my students with healthcare. So whether it's a ride or transportation to an appointment, to a doctor's appointment, whether it was a family member. So obviously I've been able to do that for students, but maybe a student that I'm working with has a mother, a father, a grandfather, a brother who needs support. Our support actually will definitely impact the kid, but it won't stop there. If there's an individual within their household that could also benefit from support, because, that lack of support could end up affecting the kid that I'm working with. We've been able to make that happen. Within the last 48 hours, just signed up 4 kids for free to take the ACT. So now, being able to find ways to get fees waived for kids, so now that they can take a test that kids need when they graduate to get into college. That's the college side. Being able to pay Washburn Tech fees, whether it's book fees, equipment fees, processing fees, because a lot of times those little things that so many of what we take for granted because we have the means to provide for, those end up being roadblocks and barriers for people, young people, families, to be able to take that step to get an opportunity to expand where they're at. And so when those resources aren't met, or they don't have means to fill those resources or those needs, they end up missing on those opportunities. CIS, communities and schools, has allowed us to do those things. We talk about college visits. I've been on probably over 50 college visits over the last 10 years in
Wow.
different ways. Division I college visits, JUCO college visits, D2 college visits. And again, we're talking about being able to provide these opportunities for young people. If it wasn't for CIS and the resources and the flexibility that I'm able to have as an SSC, these are kids that would not have been able to get on campus and do these things. So, man, it's not just limited to one space and area. Like I said, we're looking to try to find outcomes in as many areas, that we can, that's able to provide data so individuals can catch a glimpse of the work that we're really doing. And, as SSC, man, I've been able to impact way above my wildest dreams. And so, that's what's kept me around for 10 years. That's how I can kind of spew off, 10 different success stories off the top of my head, just because, it's probably not a day that doesn't go by where, something positive hadn't happened because of communities and schools and the work that we've been able to do.
We appreciate that, Michael. And we appreciate the change that you're looking to implement, not only in Topeka, but the community and schools is looking to do Midwest and nationwide. One final piece that I'd like to incorporate is just to think about it from a Forge aspect. We have a committee and a group within Forge, our volunteer committee called the Inspire Herd. And one of the components of that is volunteerism. Well, I feel like it from our conversation today, Michael. I mean, you've inspired me to get to showcase folks with what your team's doing. But also, I'll just make a quick shameless plug. I encourage folks to get involved with what you and your organization is doing. Things like that, and things that like what you're working with are components and characteristics of things that need to continue to happen, not only nationwide but locally here in Topeka. So, just a quick shout out to you, Michael. We appreciate all that effort and work that your team and organization is doing. It's evident that you're passionate about it, and that's what helps make a difference. So. With that, Michael, again, if individuals within Forge or community at large that are watching this are interested in learning more about communities and schools' initiatives across the United States and locally here in Topeka, you can check out cismidamerica.org. As always, Michael will be around at Highland Park and within the Topeka community for community outreach and for conversation. And again, we encourage you to get involved and to learn more about what they're doing. And Michael, we encourage you to continue doing what you're doing and continue your advocation. It does truly make a difference.
Hey, but I appreciate the time. I appreciate you getting the information out on us, and I would encourage anybody. It's an amazing nonprofit organization that's doing a lot of work, and it didn't just start yesterday. So it's been active for a while, transparent with all information, with all resources and funds that communities and schools gets their hands on, and just wanting to do more. So if you got a urge, if you to get involved, you got an urge to know more, please follow the link and definitely get involved and support. I appreciate it today, Mr. Kelly. Have a great day, buddy.
Hey, thank you, Michael. You as well. And we appreciate you. Once this video will be posted, check out our YouTube page, folks, for more information about other local nonprofit organizations or philanthropic organizations in Topeka looking to make a difference in our community. Again, Michael Williams, Communities and Schools, here with us this morning. And Michael, again, thank you so much for your time.
Hey, my God, thank you. Take it easy.
Thank you.